Hello, our truth warriors. Today's guest has changed the lives of so many people around the world and helps them find out who they truly are and heal the damages that we all sustain throughout life. With the ability to see beyond what most of us are currently capable, and what she can access is the hidden and locked away traumatic events. And then she helps people release this for good, which makes an absolutely massive difference in your lives. This work, along with other methods she uses, helps people find true freedom and peace. It gives us the opportunities to move forward and discover our real purpose and goals whilst being human. No longer do you need to feel imprisoned and suffer the torture of this existence. With the help of Gill here from Sacred Energy Healing, it's time to make the shift and become all you were ever intended to be. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the Atlantic Underground podcast. And Gill,
yeah.
welcome.
Hi, everyone.
And this isn't the first time Gill's been on. I think
this third time?
maybe 3 years ago, maybe longer. I've lost track of time. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the past few years, as you all know. So Gill is also my wife of 20 years. So I'll throw that in just in case.
Thinks it's a bit weird.
Thinks it's a bit weird, like two people sitting next to each other and chatting. But we do a lot of work together. I mean, we met each other when you were 13. I was 15. I had hair. I looked young. I didn't have bags under my eyes and wrinkles anymore. And I'm pushing 50 now, so it's been a couple of years at least. I think the last 3 years made us suffer more than anything. But for Gill, the past decade has been the real opening up of her skills and everything she does. Her abilities were always there to read people and read energies, but applying a lot of different modalities and working with some incredible people around the world. You trained under Alberto Villoldo. Villoldo. And if people don't know who that is, it's the gentleman who is behind the Four Winds Society over in California. A lot of people will know who he is. If not, look him up. His work and his books and his writings, his philosophies and his understanding of life have been absolutely incredible. What we want to talk about today, though, mainly, especially with the last 3 years going on, there's been a massive amount of suffering with people. There's been massive amounts of trauma, which is still going on to this day. And that trauma has severely damaged people. We're well aware of this, and we understand the challenges that people are going through now, and the trauma that's attached to them, but also the traumas that have been attached to them right through their lives that get buried. We recently put a post out on the Sacred Energy Healing page on Facebook, which is a great way to see the work that Gill does. But this to us is the core thing, that if people can shed this and if people can get through this, it's going to make a massive difference to your life. So we're going to get into some questions the way that I would with a normal guest, and hopefully it will give you a greater understanding of the work that Gill does, and certainly the work that I support. We have a family joke, don't we? Because Gill is the main core of the healing and the push on what she does. And regardless of me doing my podcasts and the things that I do with speaking out, I'm just a secretary, aren't I? And the kids always remind me that I am just the secretary, and it's my job to help people understand what we do. But the main core of the work and the incredible things that go on for many of Gill's, they become friends, I suppose, don't they? But many of people, the clients that come to Gill, are absolutely blown away with the work that she does, and for good reason, because it makes such a massive difference in their lives, and it changes them from suffering what they suffer, and it's a great way to move forward in life. So we'll start off, what is the main cause of people's suffering? And can you tell us about how it becomes hidden and locked into our bodies?
Yeah, There's a lot of things really that will cause that. Mainly, I think living in a society that has been in the dark ages for thousands of years has helped to make us feel like we're disconnected from spirit, from God, source. It's been very much a patriarchal society, and living in that rule, living in that overwhelming feeling of power and greed coming at us, we give our power away, and we've never ever been disconnected from God, source, spirit. It's just that we feel like that, and that is one of the huge main roots of the problems. And then after that, we have fear, traumas, experiences that we didn't heal from at the time. So there's quite a bit of layers in there that we've lived with for thousands of years, and it takes a while to heal those, to release them, to let them go, to understand who we are, why we're here. And with the tremendous amount of fear that was pushed on us 3 years ago, it's kind of paused it a little bit, maybe. It's never going to stop it, stop our healing, stop our transition, stop our progression, but it's definitely put a halt on a lot of people.
Yeah, and for a lot of people out there, I dig deep, go down quite a lot of rabbit holes, have done for 40 years now. I'm well aware that the suffering that people are under is the societal influences around us. And it's deliberate. We've got a lot of people in power, a lot of people that control everything from cradle to grave within our life, from the education to the authorities around us. And these groups that infiltrate and basically hack the system to program us and control us through media and through TV. These influences really do kind of stop us being our true selves. We detach away from what would be our natural abilities, our natural connections, and we start to try and fit into what we think is the societal norms of, we did it. You go to school, you're educated the way they want you to be educated. You leave school, you become all of a sudden in a job, and that job is there for the purpose of paying taxes and contributing supposedly to society. They encourage you to get a mortgage, which is basically your death contract, the ball and chain around most people's necks. And we go through that until the point of retirement, and in all honesty, I think once we retire, we don't really have the best of the years then, because of the programming we've had. So I'm going to say now, for so many people, there is an unseen existence out there that, whilst in the current state of mind, they cannot access. Can you tell us what this is, and what work is required for people to start accessing this unseen that is the true us?
Mm-hmm. So basically, it's, at the end of the day, it's just energy. And, we are this ball of energy in having an experience in a human body. So it is accessing that. We're kind of aware of it. But we don't, like you say, you don't see it unless you unprogram yourself, unplug from the matrix, whatever it is you want to call it. But it's an overall energy of the universe, of us. We have that part of the universe inside of us, that part of the God inside of us, and really helping us to connect to that again properly. Whereas, like, I'm waffling on a bit here, but the unseen is energy, and we are aware of it, because sometimes, you know, when we have thoughts and then all of a sudden something pops up that is associated with that thought, or we think about someone and then that someone calls, or you see them, you know, it's that kind of existence that we are aware of. And the more we can tap into it, the easier it gets for us to understand who we truly are. The way we can do it is to really release that heavy energy.
Yeah.
And heavy energy is the thousands of years being indoctrinated, the traumas, the experiences that we go through that we don't heal from. It creates a heavy energy around us, keeps us dumbed down, asleep, you know, whatever. It stops us connecting fully to that universal energy. And what we do is we need to release that heavy energy, and we do that through energy healing. And when we release that heavy energy, it becomes a lot easier to see who we are, but also it gets easier and easier to do each time you have healing sessions. You recognize the patterns more, you recognize the heavy energy that you've been carrying around, and it gets easier to let go. You know, it's hard at first, it really is, for everybody, but the more you do it, the easier it is to let it go and have that true connection. You know, we're never disconnected, so we're just going to clean that connection to our higher self, our true self, the universe, and really tap into it and be in the flow, you know, understand that we're never in control of anything. And
that's it. I mean, the energy is with everyone, and a lot of people don't realize this connection that everyone has, because it's been so blocked off and so severed by many things around the world. We were looking for that video last night. I was trying to find a video last night to post up, which is, it's an experiment done on a plant. And what they did, they took a plant and they split the plant into two, put them into two separate pots, and they sent one plant down to Australia and they kept the other one in the UK. And the experiment was that they would do certain things to the plant, and the reaction of the plant was actually mirrored by the plant that they sent to Australia. And this reaction was so quick, it was actually quicker than the speed of light. And the speed of light is supposed to be the fastest thing known to mankind in regards to the ability of travel. Well, energy has the ability to travel so fast. The connection between us as humans, animals, and everything around us is there in a natural form. And this experiment proved that you can do something to something that has this connection, and instantly there's a response at the other end. And nothing slows this ability of energy down to be able to do that. And it's quite incredible when we think that, you know, we were talking about being dumbed down. So many people out there that, you know, are still drinking tap water, which the government sees fit to put the fluoride in, and it calcifies your pineal gland, and the food and the lifestyle, things that are getting sprayed in the air, everything around us that's poisoning us is slowing us down. And, you know, it's not good for us. We need to take a step back and start taking care of ourselves, clean ourselves up a little bit in order to start accessing this connection again. You know, we have the ability to take control of the world again. We've given away, you said before, we're giving away our powers, but we really have. You know, every couple of years, people think that voting a different person into government is the solution to the problems that we see every day. The problems don't go away, they just add more problems too. And then in a few years' time, people say, well, I'll vote for somebody else next time because they didn't do what they did. This whole agenda behind what we're seeing is a system that is there to destroy us. And once we find our true potential and our true powers, and I do believe that shedding the trauma is the key to move forward for so many people to have a clear mind, we're going to make a massive difference. Now, has society conditioned us to live a complete lie and is the unlearning of the lifestyle, the programming that we've done. Is that a difficult process for people? Is it possible?
It's definitely possible. It is difficult, especially when you've been indoctrinated into the education system or any other system that you work for, medicine, government, whatever. It is difficult to really take a step back and look, because you're involved in that, you know, you're part of that system, and really taking a step back, looking at who you are, but also looking at where you want to be. You know, is this the only thing that you're here to do? You know, it's just a crazy world at the minute, especially. But yeah, society definitely has conditioned us, and we go along with that because we've given our power away for so long that it's been easy to do as time has progressed. So those thousands of years, it is going to be hard at first. It is going to be difficult to unlearn everything we've already learned and look at things completely different, you know, have a completely different understanding of who we are. Yeah, difficult at first, but as soon as you start back on that path of finding who you are, your destiny, your true self, it gets easier. It really does get easier, but it's you have to start with you first, and then it will have that dominoes effect. And your energy, because there's no separation from like my energy, your energy, anyone else's, there's nothing separating us. It does have a knock-on effect. So even if you think, oh, I'm just one person, how can this have an effect on others? It will. It's instant. And you know, as soon as you start changing those thought patterns, that mindset, the limited beliefs, letting things go, it does have an effect on those around you, and then eventually more and more.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you have clients all around the world.
Mhm.
You don't need to have somebody in the room with you lying on a bed for this treatment, for this energy work, for these releases, the cutting of the cords, you know, removing the trauma, journeying for people and going in.
Mhm.
They don't even have to be in the same room. I mean,
No.
you've got clients in India
Mhm.
and the US and the UK and Canada and anywhere else. It's just, I know you've got clients all over the world, and it doesn't matter, because the work that you do, the ability to have that instant energy connection allows Gill to tap into the energy of the people and literally work upon their behalf. It's like, you know, it's like taking your car to a car mechanic and then plugging it in,
Mhm.
reading what the problem is, and there you go, we'll fix it, no
Mhm.
problem. You know, it takes the mechanic to read the problem to be able to tell you what it is and to be able to fix it. And it's the same with the energy healing. You know, it takes somebody like Gill to be able to tap into the people's energy when they come for the healing sessions, to be able to go in and you know, I always talk in car terms, you know that, but basically to go in and run a diagnostic on you and see what's going on and see where the blockages and the problems are. As the ability to read people's energies something that has been with you since childhood? And, you know, was it misunderstood by you when you first realized you had this ability and this connection?
Oh yeah, and I think a lot more people have that ability too. Yeah, I was just a kid. It felt like I could read people's minds, and it was really scary. And because what was coming out of their mouth, their energy was telling me something completely different. And I always, you know, it was more adults than kids. And so it was like nearly every adult was lying all the time. And it was really hard to understand that, comprehend what was going on. You know, this is the 80s, and it's there was nothing really around at the time to help with anything like that. I just thought it was normal, but weird at the same time and really scary. because I didn't understand it, and because I didn't speak about it, and I didn't have any support, I blocked it out because it was too much. It was really, really heavy for me to continue reading people's energy, what I knew and what I know is now. So yeah, I blocked it out for a long, long time until I had pushes right throughout my life to say it's time to wake up again.
Yeah. So. And I must be like Bella of Twilight. I don't think you can read me, because I'm sure if you could read me properly, then you probably wouldn't be with me still. So the past 3 years has been, again, for so many people out there, such a traumatic event for millions of people all around the world. Are you finding more and more people are surrendering to the need for help now? And is it easy to eventually, live without the impact of this man-made fear?
Oh yeah. Like what has been going on is huge. It's a spiritual war, and it's a war that's happening to stop people waking up, to stop people connecting properly, and realizing who they are, that we don't actually need someone to tell us what to do. We don't have to give away our money. Everything that has brought these dark ages, that has brought everything to keep us dumbed down, we don't actually need. And the fear helps to keep that there. So yeah, there is more and more people waking up, and the year 2020 was meant to be, it did bring in a huge feminine energy to help bring balance. And what happened was the world was blasted with fear constantly 24/7, and that feminine energy wasn't able to reach a lot of people, because when you're in fear, there's nothing makes sense, nothing can get through or connect properly. So it's a big trauma, and once people are waking up to it now, they're realizing how traumatic the effect it had on them, because it's broke up families, it has devastated friendships, jobs, you name it. It's had an impact on everything. People have lost businesses. It's been really, really sad to see people divide so much. And what's happening now is, when people are waking up, they're realizing what has been done to them, where that fear that's been building up for so long is coming to the surface, and they're hitting a crisis point. And when we hit a crisis point, that is an ideal time to start really looking at healing, really looking at yourself, and just coming out and seeing things differently. And when you start seeing things differently, but everything's been a lie, then you start to look for those people who are there, who have been trying to speak the truth, who have been there for people, who have been just kind throughout. And it's been great to see people reach out, people who would never even think of having this work done before, coming forth and saying, I want to heal. And we will get through this. And once you start releasing that heavy energy, that fear can't be it can't have control over you anymore, so that fear just kind of takes a back seat, and you learn to live a fantastic life. You understand who you are, what your path is, and you just become your true self.
And like people, my phone's playing up here. We went live on my phone, and people are struggling to see it. I'm getting notices. It's saying it's pausing. It's telling me my phone's overheating. I've got no reason to know why. It's not exactly red hot, is it? maybe the conversation's red hot. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, and pause and whatever. So we do lose the live feed on Facebook. Don't worry, we're recording this on Zoom. And hello to everyone that's sending the messages through, Kristen, and I can see everyone there, Richard, and everyone who's watching, and Tony. So hello everyone. I'm not ignoring your messages. I'm technically challenged, as you know. I'm not sure how to reply.
We can go through the messages later.
Yeah, we'll reply to you later. We'll just keep talking to now. But yeah, you know, the past few years, we're saying it's been absolutely terrible. People have been really suffering. You know, I believe that the distractions and everything that we are going through, these distractions have been purposeful as they try and implement things. We know that the past few years and what people have been putting into the bodies is certainly affecting them. Everyone out there is seeing the effects of what's happened there. I'm not sure even if we can say the V word, so to speak. But you know, this has caused so much damage to people. And as Gill was saying before, the families and friends that have turned our backs on us and no longer want anything to do with us, they're the ones who are suffering the most, because they're the ones who are not able to kind of assimilate with the changes in the energetic shift. And we can see that the people in power are trying to stop people waking up. This is, you know, they're following their agenda still. They want to do what they want to do, but they also want to stop people from waking up in order to put the word out there. Don't feel like you're alone as well out there, people. You know, I know a lot of people have suffered with, you know, being shunned by family, by friends, by work colleagues. Don't worry about it. It's not you. It's them. They're the ones who are not understanding the process they're going through. And hopefully, at some stage moving forward, we can all be there to help them and make them, you know, go through the process that we've been through, and you know, make it not such a struggle for them. I do think there's a lot of people out there that may still be an absolute lost cause. You know, that we're never going to change them. And quite sadly, and as I've said before, there may be massive losses to life moving forward. Now, is it important for people to protect themselves as this awakening is taking place? And, you know, what threats are there to the spiritual well-being of people as this goes on? You know, I'm talking people, some people aren't aware of the fact that you can have attachments, you can have things that come in when you hit a real low point. You have gone through a traumatic event. This is a time where there can be certain unseen things that can attach and create major problems within people. So is it important for people to protect themselves as this awakening is taking place?
Yeah, I mean, we should always be aware of protecting ourselves. But at this time, with us getting so many, like, bombarded with so much fear, you know, it helps to create more heavy energy. So those who were so afraid these past few years were obviously carrying a lot of heavy energy to begin with, and you know, that kind of heavy energy attracts the same kind of heavy energy. So it's not like energy doesn't take sides. It's not, you know, it doesn't say, all right, I'm going to pick on you. It doesn't have any, you know, ability to do that. It's just energy. And when you carry that heavy energy, you're surrounding yourself with fear, then that fear is going to be attracted to that person as well. So when that heavy energy and that fear is in your energy field, you will attract energies that feed on low vibrating energy. So the fear, the heavy energy, keeps us in a low vibration, so it will automatically attract things that are very low vibrating and not for our highest good.
Including people?
Yeah, including people, energy, you know, situations, anything. And no one's to blame. No one, you know, it's not the person's fault. It's it's an experience, and that is what we need to be aware of and understand that, okay, I'm carrying this, I'm in a tremendous amount of fear. I am aware of what else can happen, and really be really aware of your energy and what effect it has on others and what others have effect on you. And the more you release the heavy energy, the less that low vibrating energy will be attracted to you, and we'll be able to help release those, that anything that gets stuck in your energy field.
Yeah.
And that's come forth.
And like I was saying, then people can come into people's lives, and you know, how many times do you hear it? Oh, I just keep attracting the wrong kind of people.
Oh, yeah,
you know, why do bad things keep happening to me? People get locked into this cycle that they won't break until they deal with the trauma and the energy levels that they have, until it's released, until it's recognized, until that cycle is broken. They're going to continue to repeat this cycle. So there's so many people out there now that I know are suffering with, you know, lifestyles, relationships, and things like that, because the energy that they're putting out, it will attract and continue to attract. It's, you know, it's the law of attraction itself, but it's amplified more when people are stuck in this certain frequency of energy, that they will draw to them like a magnet. The fucking idiots that are out there, it's just going to continue. And that, you know, you have the ability to change this. You can take full control of your life, and you can make the difference in your own life just by putting this work in and making the changes in your life. But first of all, people have got to recognize this within them.
Yeah, they've got to recognize, you know, their part in the role, the story that they're in. And a lot of people don't want to do that, and it's sad, because you can feel and see the energy. You know, you can see people have huge hearts and are really good people, but they just can't get out of that victim cycle, or whatever it is, the story that they're in. And yeah, it's got to start with the person themselves. Otherwise, you know, it's not going to get very far. Energy can only do so much, but it really has to be the person to really kick it off and get it started by taking a good hard look at themselves. You know, what people have done these past few years, especially in belittling, in just being awful to other people who think differently. They've compromised their soul. You know, when we go against something that just doesn't feel right to us, you know, when we don't listen to our gut and we go with that fear, then we compromise our soul. And each time we do that, it gets harder and harder to escape and let go of that heavy energy. So it's going to be really, really tough for a lot of people.
Yeah, but it also feels better if you punch people in the throat, actually. You feel better, promise you. They won't. They certainly won't continue abusing you as well. Now, I want people out there to picture in the mind now, you know, what they consider a healer to look like. You know, if you can envision somebody who is a healer and is involved with this kind of stuff, there's going to be a stereotypical thing. Now, you're not the typical new age arty farty kind of person, I know. You know, the love and light and the stereotypical look and the clothing that we see on so many that are out there actually pertaining to be healers. You seem normal and grounded, I'll give you that. Do you have to have a hard edge or still have a badass approach to this in order to deal with the realms that you're actually working in? Because, you know, when you journey, I'm well aware that there are things that you see out there that would scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, I suppose it would. I mean, saying about clothing, you know, I've got this on today, but
yeah, and we've got our flowery thing behind us, but that's only because, as I said, and people that have only just joined us and haven't seen it, we were disappearing. I put the normal Atlantic Underground podcast screen behind us, and you could either see me or Gill, and we were disappearing. It was it was quite the thing, and we were laughing because if people have ever noticed, sometimes when I'm doing the interviews, my ears will disappear. Sometimes I wish they would disappear anyway, but unfortunately they're stuck to the side of my head like two dinner plates.
but yeah, no, it is. I enjoy working in the shadows. I enjoy working in the dark and bringing forth what has been buried, and I think once you kind of understand it, it doesn't feel scary to me at all. I do come across heavy dark energies, but I know I'm grounded, I know I'm protected, I know that that I'm at a different level that they are, and they don't tend to touch me, they don't tend to come after me. So it's working on a whole different level, and I'm able to go there for people and bring up the unconscious to the conscious for them, and on an energetic level, and really help them, because otherwise it's going to be buried. The more it gets buried, we go through a crisis, because that heavy energy, those fears, that unconscious comes up. We cover it up with symptom control, so we don't have to suffer it or see it or acknowledge it, and then we go on until the next crisis happens. So it really is about releasing that, and just being comfortable with seeing what is buried underneath there, being comfortable with helping to work with someone like me. Like, I can have both feet, I have both feet in both worlds, and I can manage, I can do that. And I still swear, I still drink.
You did last night?
I did last night, yeah.
A bottle of wine and a half. The kids found it highly amusing.
Yeah. It wasn't great.
We're real people. The thing is, we're real people. We're not, we're looking at the world through our eyes and the abilities that we have. I'm running the podcasts, talking about all the bad things in the world, and shedding light on what's going on, and trying to come up with the solutions to how we can fix these problems. Gill is doing the work with the people who are suffering, and making a big difference there. And when we say she goes into some of these dark realms, I mean, you've experienced probably if anyone out there could imagine the darkest thing out there that humanity absolutely fears, well, Gill has had a conversation with him. It, whatever you want to call it, the Dark Lord himself. And it's not, you weren't scared. The thing was laughing and joking with you, wasn't it? It was quite proud and laughing and joking about the fact that it's not, something that can come and attack you. This Dark Lord is something that whispers in the ears of humans and manipulates them to do the horrors that we see around the world. And I'm sure you all know what I'm on about. We all see it. We're seeing it every single day. The horrors and the things that go on around the world is due to the weakness of humans, and the fact that this thing will come and whisper the ideas to you. Those that get involved with a lot of the satanic cults and things, that is them opening up directly to be influenced by, again, it's another energy, isn't it? It's a dark energy.
Yeah, and that's what has been in control, well, not control, but the force behind the people, the parasites of this earth. It's been behind them, and it's enabled them to get where they are. And I have no sides to this. It was a time that we were experiencing control, greed, power, and that was what that energy was helping for people to have, but now with that feminine energy coming in 2020, there's been a whole, so many years of us being transitioned to a new energy where where that energy doesn't have control anymore. It doesn't have the power to manipulate people anymore, and the people who we see who are in so-called power don't have the power behind them anymore. That energy is no longer there, and that is why we are seeing the systems breaking down. That's why we're seeing truths coming out, people waking up. It's a whole process that we're going through. It's a whole shedding experience that we're going through, and yeah, it's definitely nothing to be afraid of, but I can understand the fear behind leaving an old life to transition to something completely different. You know, I get it, I understand that, but it's time to wake up. It really is.
Yeah, otherwise a lot of people are going to get left behind, and if they don't put the work in now and continue to put the work in on themselves, you're going to miss the train, unfortunately. I mean, the people, once they start working on themselves and with the energy and the healing, the people need to remain committed to the changes that they want. Because I'm imagining it's not just a wave of a magic wand and all of a sudden you're fixed. I mean, can you talk us through some of the processes that are required to remove these energetic blockages within the body?
Yeah, you know, it definitely is a commitment on the person's side. You know, like I've said, energy work will help release that heavy energy. But what the person really has to do as well is to help rewire their thought patterns, the process, the mindset, those limited beliefs, you know, have to be let go of. We need to shed a lot of that to heal, to bring in that balance. You know, that is basically what we're doing, because we've been out of balance for so long. We're bringing in that balance to heal. But yeah, definitely commitment. You know, one session is definitely not going to do it, and it's up to the person to continue with really looking at themselves, looking at their story, you know, understanding about attachments to the roles that they play in this. You know, we're in like a big movie set, and when you kind of understand the reality that we're in, we were able to understand the roles, let them go, and find our true self. Yeah, there's no magic wand, unfortunately. It's hard work. It's definitely hard for the person to take a good hard look at themselves, and it's definitely hard for someone who has been so stuck in that mindset to change the whole process. But it can be done. Those energetic blockages can be removed, and we are rewiring our whole DNA, you know.
And once people start this and start the process of the healing, start shedding the blockages, releasing that trauma, the power, the energy, the clarity that you have is like nothing that you've experienced before in life. Because the emotional baggage and the things that most people are carrying with them for so long, it's a heavy burden upon you. It really is. And all of a sudden that you're able to work to get to that trauma, to recognize it and to release it. And it's such a weight off your shoulders, you know, to become somebody who now, as I see it, has been given the life back again. You know, you're able to do it. I mentioned before as well, Gill trained under the very famous shaman Alberto Villoldo. Violdo, I always say it wrong anyway. At the Four Winds Academy, the guy's the best in the world. But since then, you've strengthened your abilities by fine-tuning your connection. You know, and regardless where you are, you know, in your healer's journey, do you find that it's still constant learning for you as more doors continually open in what you're able to do? You know, it's growing all the time, isn't it?
Oh yeah. You know, like in university, it's always, you know, lifelong learning, and this is exactly the same. You know, although I did do training, I did a lot of different courses and things like that. It just helped to unlock what was already in there, and every single one of us has that ability. It's just some of us can connect to it better, maybe, or see it a bit differently, that we've kind of started that process already, and then others can kind of, once they start releasing their heavy energy, they can progress as well, and call their power back. But yeah, everything starts to open up, things start to become more clear. You no longer hold on to the stories, the roles, the heavy energy that was being carried around. And once that is all brought into balance, everything, doors do open, like you said. It doesn't mean that we're not going to experience sadness. It doesn't mean we're not going to get angry or anything like that, because they are our dark energy that we need. There's a difference between dark and heavy. And it's when we're in one energy for too long, it becomes really heavy. So when we spiritually bypass things, which a lot of people do, they attract that heavy energy and become bombarded with it and out of balance. But when we're struggling and we're going through grief and sadness, and we continue and hold on to that grief for far too long, then it becomes very heavy, and it's an ongoing cycle of trying to escape from it and let it go. But the more you do, it does get easier, and things will become more clearer for you, and you'll be able to see that this fear no longer has any power over you anymore.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the balance is key. As Jill was saying there, most people will slide into the darker side of things, and some people can push themselves into the, as I call it, the love and light side of spirituality, and it completely takes them out of the reality of what we're actually living in. In this world now, we have to be a bit of a badass. We have to be able to call upon a darker side of us. If we're threatened by something and we need to fight it, you've got to call upon that. You've got to fight things as well as being the love and light side. And I think that fine balance, I think the yin and yang sign, is it, the black and the white, with that symbolizes the perfect balance of where on an everyday we should be in that perfect balance. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be an occasion where you have to dip into being a badass and step up, do what you're actually here to do. So we need to maintain that within us. Now, one of the things with clients as well, it's no different to a doctor. Client confidentiality is the utmost within your practice. But is it possible, without mentioning obviously any names, to talk about some of the work you have done for people and the successes that you have had, and achieved by working with them?
I never ever discuss what goes on with a session or with anyone else, and I never send energy out without permission. I never check in with someone's energy without permission. So it is, that is sacred to me. But yeah, there's been a lot of, I can't really pinpoint one, but like different things, that I get shown from someone's energy, and I explain to them at the end of the session, and they just look at me like, how did you know that? And I was like, well, it was shown. I got the vision. I get to see it. I get to feel it, what it feels like. I feel their sadness. I feel the emptiness. I feel the feeling of disconnection, and it's really amazing to see the huge shift in the person from the beginning of a session to the end. It brings up a lot, and when you think about it, people are walking around with this heavy energy, and they'll continue to walk around with it. Nothing's going to get rid of it unless you have an energy healing session. And just seeing the difference, and seeing people's fears like drop away from them, and have an understanding where that original wound comes from. Like, I know a lot of people come in and have a session and think, oh yeah, I know where this heavy energy comes from. It comes from this trauma, it comes from this experience. And then when we go in, we find it goes back even further. The original wound isn't what they were thinking.
Yeah, and I know for myself, when things have been brought up for myself and I've faced these traumas that I didn't even remember them. This is something that gets so pushed down. I think it's a self-protective mechanism within the human psyche that when something bad happens to you, you will lock it away and it will remain there, but there'll be no memory of it. Your mind will absolutely put it to one side. And I know that when the work I've done, things have been brought up and I've actually sat there thinking about it, like, wow, that did happen. Yeah, I remember it. And at that point, it's kind of scary to face it again. And it's kind of surreal to relive it and see it again. And sometimes it's not even me that sees it. Gill will see within the clients exactly what happened to them. And she'll say it, and all of a sudden, the client's like, oh my word, that happened. That happened to me. It happened when I was, 13 years old. A member of the family come, and this happened or that happened. And to relive that and to face it, it's a big shock. Don't get me wrong, it comes up and all of a sudden it's like you're reliving something that you buried within. But at that point, you have the option then, don't you? You can either bury it back down and forget about it again, or Gill will work with you and you will call it cutting the cord, is it?
Yeah, there's cords and things, energetic cords that can be cut, but we clear that imprint, that traumatic experience, and override it, so that you don't experience those patterns anymore. But like I was saying, for thousands of years of living in the dark ages of a completely different energy to now, it was fine to bury that heavy energy. It was fine to bury them traumas. It served a purpose at that time, and we can't be so hard on ourselves for thinking, oh, if only I'd have done this a lot longer, if only I'd have listened or done this, then we can't do that to ourselves. That's another punishment for ourselves. It's a case of that served us then, but it's no longer serving us now. And it's time to let it go.
Yeah, definitely. And to break that cycle. And many people, I don't get involved with, as we joke about it, I'm the secretary. I don't get involved with the healing process, and I don't get involved, with asking or understanding what's going on with the clients. It's we said earlier, it's a complete confidential thing that Gill has with the clients. So I never get to know. But people who are friends and people we know will tell me, they'll say, oh, we've done this, we've done that. It's just absolutely incredible. It's changed my life. And as you were saying then, people wish they'd have done it sooner. There's no point in hanging on to this. This is the point in your life where you're able to change things for the better. I don't see why a lot of people would want to continue holding on to what they're holding on to. And the thing is, it's sometimes not recognized. Those that remember certain traumas in their life, those who have experienced things in their life that is being relived, and they know that it's affecting them and making them ill, and it's playing on the mind and it's causing psychological problems. They're the ones that actually do remember it. As we were saying before about how far this gets buried down in the human psyche, most people are out there on a daily basis going throughout their life, struggling and suffering with many different things, whether it's mental health, or this will actually manifest in the body as physical illness. It will put, we say it will put the body at a dis-ease. And this will manifest itself within the body as certain illnesses that can cause people to really suffer. But they don't recognize and they don't realize at this point that this is something that is within them that they no longer recognize, they no longer know it's there. Now, as we progress as well, we're talking about a whole energetic shift going on currently. It's clear to me that we are in this shift, this energetic change. I have a feeling that those that do not work to achieve like a higher vibration within the life and have an understanding of themselves will be lost, as these changes will literally, I see it driving them insane, because as we progress and we move forward, despite the distractions and everything that's being thrown at us now, I don't think these changes can be stopped. But do you think it's going to really start to affect the mental health of people? Is it going to start to drive them insane, even to the point of death, because they are unable to understand what's going on around them?
Yeah, it's going to have a huge impact. We're seeing it already that people are not carrying it well. They're not seeing they're completely unable and do not want to see what's going on. They don't want to be part of that, and that's fine, because we all have our own journey. We all have our own path to be on, and a lot of people will be on their journey, and we can't interfere with that unless their journey is something completely different to the path that they're on. So when people are in fear and they continue to be in fear, that might be what they signed up for. That might be something that they chose. I don't want to transition. I'm going to experience the dark times, and I'm going to die in the dark times, and I'm going to be reborn into the new energy and progress from there. So I've had visions of like people losing their heads over it, and like heads falling off because the whole life is what they've been taught has been a complete lie. And that's not easy to take. It's especially for someone who is involved in those systems, has been indoctrinated into them, who has compromised their soul a lot. Not for for the job that they do, that isn't for humanity's greatest good. So we will lose a lot of people, but that may have been their journey. Unfortunately, there will be people that shouldn't have passed over that will. So that's sad, but it's we have to look at these without attachments and have an understanding that where we're going is a lot lighter than where we are at the minute.
But if our whole lives have been a lie, wouldn't it have been on the news?
Which channel? Which one?
All of them. All of them that are owned by the same 6 corporations. Now, that old system that it's operated for so long now, and still somewhat at this point, we're still within that system, although we are breaking out of that. And we can say it's coming out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. However anyone wants to look at it, we're in this energetic cycle that is changing and coming about of a new age. Now, this is, or has been, a very oppressive male-dominated regime. And as we move forward now, what changes and balances are we going to see? And can those wishing to remain in the old construct, can they actually survive in the old construct as things move forward?
The patriarchal rule that we've had, has definitely been the dominating energy, and it's, we signed up to live in that experience, so we shouldn't be hard on ourselves to think, okay, we lived in that, but it's time to move on. And that is all we have to do, take it back to basics. Really look and think, this feminine energy is coming in, this universal feminine energy is coming in to help us transition, to help us move forward from 3D, 5D, Pisces, Aries, Aquarius, whatever. You know, so we are changing, and our vibrations will get higher as we do this, as we come into balance, as we release heavy energy. We'll get help from the feminine energy coming in, you know, that will help kick us off. But there definitely still will be people that can't use that energy either. You know, they're not going to be able to survive in that. The vibrations are going to be so low. The ones who have compromised humanity for so long, then they're not going to survive it. The whole energy behind them, that dark, heavy, patriarchal energy is no longer there. And so how are they going to survive when we are transitioning and moving forward in a lighter, more balanced feminine energy? They can't, you know, and I don't think that they want to either, you know. It's not that they can't, it's that they don't want to. They've experienced what they've come here to experience, and then they're going to go. So,
and they're comfortable in the, you know, the familiarity of the life that they're living. You know, albeit that they're living a lie. And they're never going to look at their own lives and realize, or you know, maybe they do, I think, and it's very difficult to prove this, but I think a lot of people do know that the world is not as it really appears to them on a daily basis. They live this lie, but this lie is so comfortable to them because it's so familiar, it's such a routine. You know, they get up in the morning, they go to work, they'll go to the pub, they'll drink beer, they can watch sports, they can, and this becomes their life. They don't want anything beyond that. They don't want to push any further to find out the true purpose of firstly why they were here. Because I don't believe for one moment that we come back as a human being to experience this life, to live the life the way that we do. Because we know there's so much more out there. We know that there's so much more to life, that our true purpose in coming back, this experience that we're having, being human, it is far greater than what we're actually led it to be by those controlling forces that wish to have power over us, subdue us, dumb us down, stop us becoming everything that we could be. I mean, could you imagine the whole world surely would change if people woke up to the fact of their true abilities and their true power in order to change everything around us?
Oh yeah, I mean, you've got the people who, you know, who have followed the so-called people in control. You know, you've got those who aren't going to transition, and you've got the ones, you know, you've got that group of people, then you've got the ones who are supposedly in control, pushing this power, greed, you know, that forceful energy onto us. So you've got two different groups of people feeding that energy. And the ones who are really pushing it, you know, they've hacked the system, they've kept us in asleep for a lot longer than we should have been. And now, you know, they understand that, they get how it works, they understand about energy, they understand that, you know, we create our own reality. They get it, they understand, they don't care about any of us whatsoever. So they will go because they can't survive in a higher vibrational energy. They can't, that frequency irritates them, so they won't survive at all. And then you have the people who follow them unconsciously, you know, whatever, or out of fear, and in their, like you say, in their comfort zone. They don't want to come out of it. You've got those that won't transition either.
They're conditioned.
They're completely conditioned. So, you know, we have to be aware of that and understand that they're going, and that unfortunately, that is the only way we can actually move forward, because that heaviness, a lot of that control will go.
Yeah.
So there will be a lot of dark times ahead for everyone. And it's about being healthy, energetically, mentally, physically, really understanding who we are.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you can create your own reality, why would you want it to be in so much fear in the first place? It's no longer working for us. So you are your own creator, you are your own guide, everything. So why not guide yourself into something that makes you happy, something that creates the abundance that we're born with, the abundance that is there, rather than living in such a lack society, a fear-driven way of life. It's not where we're going. So
no, not at all.
We've got to heal that. We've got to get into balance and just move forward.
That's it. So everyone watching this now, get this out there. You know, if this isn't striking a chord with you, it's not resonating with you, just think of the help that you could give other people just by sharing what we're putting out here. Share the video, like it, let us know. I'd love to see your comments on what you're seeing and hearing here. But just, you know, the power is in your fingertip. If you can just click that button and share it on your page, or share it to a group, send it to a friend who you may think is suffering or struggling, you know, they can get in touch. We can help them. You know, our service to people here, this is why we're here. I do believe we're here to help people. So, you know, reach out. The trauma is within everyone. It's affecting people unknowingly. And I do believe that once you try to go through this work, once you try and heal yourself, it's going to make such a massive difference to your life that you can thank me later. So, you know, so if people want to reach out and speak to you, or maybe to book some time with you to start this change process, you know, how do they go about that? What's the best way to get in touch? Would it be maybe on Facebook, on the page?
Yeah, probably the Facebook page, and probably through WhatsApp on there, or Messenger on there. My website is going through a bit of a change at the minute, so it's not available at this time. But yeah, definitely my Facebook page, Sacred Energy Healing. All my information's on there. WhatsApp, Messenger, email. So yeah, all that information is on there, and that's how people can reach out. And anytime, you know, I'm available. We can sort something out, whether it's just to chat and go over what I do, or what is going to happen, what the sessions entail. You know, we can do that first, and then go from there.
Yeah. And I'm here as well. People can reach out to me as well. You know, I can just flick the message across to Gill and get her to contact you. I'll put the links in as well. So in the video, you know, I'll put it onto the different channels that we have, the BitChute, the Rumble. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll send it out on Facebook, and you'll probably be seeing this in Facebook groups. But yeah, within the video, within the links, I'll put the contacts in for Gill, and you'll be able to get in touch. And, you know, best of luck, everyone, because this is, to me, the opportunity for us all to heal ourselves, become everything that we were truly meant to be. We've been compromised, we've been corrupted, absolutely, by everything that seeks to control us around us, as well as people and events that happen around us that can cause so many problems. It's time basically to shed our skin. There's a whole new era coming up. I always say, it's gonna get better before it gets worse. We've got some battles ahead of us.
It's worse before it gets better.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Basically, it's going to be tough, but for a while we've still got to deal with the bad things that go on around us, And, you know, a lot of people out there now are starting to deal with it. And yeah, you know, we will get rid of the bad things in the world. It doesn't serve us. We don't need to have it around us. And we can make a better world for humanity, for our own children, for future generations. But I do believe that we all have to play our part in this. I do believe we all have to put the work in, service to others, helping other people. And that's what this is all about. So please, you know, even if your part in moving forward and changing things is just to share this video and get it out to other people that really are struggling and may need the help. That's all we can ask of you. You know, we're here trying to do our part. Gill is there doing what she does, really going in and healing people and working with people to levels that to most people it's incomprehensible. But at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. You know, we're going to make a difference. I'm going to continue fighting the system and putting the information out there that I do. Gill's going to be doing the healing side of things to make far greater steps forward for people. And we're here for you. Just reach out. You know, the mail's there, the pages are there. You can get us on Messenger and on the contact numbers. Reach out, everyone. That's all I can say. So thanks very much. This has been been different. Been very different. And I hope you all enjoyed the live. I do see everyone there on the live watching. I'm sorry I've not been as interactive, but there was a lot of points that we did want to get through in regards for people to have a greater understanding of the work that Gill does. So yeah, we'll put this out there. I'll have this uploaded tonight. So if it's not too late where you are, maybe you've not caught the whole interview and what we've spoken about. But yeah, you'll be able to watch it, share it, get it out there. Let's make a difference, people. The world's a shitty enough place as it is. We've got the power in our hands to change it. So let's do everything that we can. We'll make a better world for ourselves by empowering ourselves to the levels that we can. So thank you very much, dear. So we'll give it a hug. Not many guests I can give a hug to. But there we go. Take care, everyone. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
Get something to eat.
Oh yeah, let's go and grab a bite to eat. Might even find a cold beer in the fridge, but you're not to have any wine tonight. Take care, everyone. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Bye.